Okay, everybody, welcome to the video number two. In this video, we're going to be focusing primarily on writing your body paragraphs for your essay. However, I quickly want to recap what we did in video one. So, in the first video, you were introduced to the prompt as you were with the notes that we took in class, and you should have outlined reasons for and against releasing Adnan from prison. Then you were instructed to pick a side, a position. You would either argue that he was wrongly convicted of murder or that he was rightfully convicted of murder, and you were supposed to create a thesis statement for your introduction paragraph. So you should already have this box complete, these boxes complete, and your outline for your introduction should already be complete too. Now you notice that mine is not complete because this is kept blank for teaching purposes. However, yours should be. So on your outline, you should have your attention grabbing statement already done and completed. You should have your background information already done and completed. And you should have the thesis statement itself already done and completed as well. Now, if you look at mine, my thesis statement looks completed, but I left off my second and my third point because I didn't want to give away too many examples that you would then use in your paper, right? But I did add a first point right here that which we'll talk about, and we're going to use that point to outline my first body paragraph. Right? So you should have your entire introduction done. So if you're looking at your document, you don't have this entire introduction done. You want to pause now and go back and watch the first video and complete these boxes first. But if these boxes are done, then you're ready to move on. Right? So now we're going to talk about outlining your body paragraphs. Now, your body paragraphs simply argue each of your three main points from your thesis statement. So let's read my thesis statement. I have, after listening to the entire Serial Season 1 podcast, Adnan Syed was rightfully convicted of murder and should not be released from prison because Jay's testimony to the police is strong and highly incriminating. Then I would list my second point, and then I would list my third point. But for this example, I only listed one point of why I think Adnan should not be released from prison and why I think he was rightfully convicted, and that was that Jay's testimony to the police is strong and highly incriminating. Right? So each one of my main points is going to be the focus of each body paragraph. So body paragraph number one focuses on my first main point. Body paragraph number two would focus on my second main point. And then, of course, body paragraph number three would focus on my third main point, right? So that is how you outline or how the reasons drive your paragraphs. But for this video alone, we're just going to talk about body paragraph number one. And then you'll just repeat the process 3 times for all your other body paragraphs. Remember, the body paragraphs are the most important part because this is where you're presenting your reasons and using evidence and proving your position. Okay? So, to recap, I'm arguing that he was rightfully convicted of murder and he should not be out of prison. And my main point was that Jay's testimony to the police is strong and highly incriminating. So I need to put that into a statement for my first body paragraph. So I can start off by saying one reason why Adnan Syed was rightfully convicted of murder and should remain in prison is because of Jay's testimony to the police being strong and highly incriminating. So, again, I just took my first point from right here from my thesis statement and I made it into one nice new clear topic sentence to open up my first body paragraph. And you notice I used slightly different language that I used up here, just so I'm not repeating myself. I told you that before. You always want to use slightly different language. So what I'd like you to do is to pause right now and write a topic sentence to start off your first body paragraph using your first main point from your thesis statement. Pause the video and write one now. Okay, if you're back, then I'm assuming that this box is completed on your document and you have your first claim or reason written down on your first main point. Right? So now what do I have to do? Well, I have to prove this statement in this paragraph by giving some different examples of support. At least two, if not three, strong examples of support are needed to back up my reason. So one thing I'm arguing that Jay's testimony to the police was strong and highly incriminating. So I got to give an example. So my first example or support is going to be that Jay. Actually, I'll write for example. I like transition statements. For example, Jay admits to physically seeing the body of Hae Min Lee in her trunk. Right? So that is one piece of support that I'm using to back up this idea that his testimony to the police was strong and incriminating. But it's not enough just to have support. As you know, we have to have textual evidence, or we need to elaborate on our example a little bit so our reader can trust us, right? And our argument is well supported. So I need evidence to support that Jay admitted to physically seeing the body, typo there, of Hae Min Lee in her trunk. So I'm going to go back to the first transcript of season 1, page 14, because right here he actually makes a statement where he does state this information. He said, "I noticed that Hay wasn't with him. I parked next to him. He asked me to get out of the car. I got out of the car. He asked me, 'Am I ready for this?' I say, 'Ready for what?' And he takes the keys. He opens the trunk, and all I can see is Hay's lips are all blue, and she's pretzeled up in the back trunk, and she's dead." Right? Now, this is a lot to write for textual evidence, so I'm only going to use the part that I need. So I'm just going to use this second part, right? So I'm going to come back here to this document, and I'm going to write, Jay tells the police, because I want some kind of introduction to my evidence. I'm going to go back here and just kind of read it. And he takes the keys. So I'm going to go back here, and he takes the keys, period. And then the next statement, he opens the trunk. So he opens the trunk. Next statement, all I can see is Hay's lips are all blue. So all I can see is Hay's lips are all blue. Period. And the last statement, and she's pretzeled up in the back of the trunk, and she's dead. And she's pretzeled up in the back of the trunk, period. And she's dead. End quotes. Right? You notice I put quotes around my textual evidence because these are direct evidence from the actual text, right? So I gave an example to back up my point. I gave some evidence to support my example, but I'm not done. I need to elaborate a little bit more. So it says, what is suggested by this example, right? But don't use the word suggested. So basically, I have to talk about, what does this example tell me? Uh, this example, or actually, I don't even say this example. Jay is clearly articulating what he saw that day in the Best Buy parking lot. I might want to elaborate any more. He vividly recaps or recounts how Hay's body appeared in the trunk of the car. Right? So that's what's suggested, right? And then what's really important is, why does this matter, right? Okay, this is one example of Jay. I don't want to use the word clearly again. So Jay descriptively detailing the events of Hay's death from his perspective. Moreover, it puts Adnan with the body of Hay on the day of her murder. That helped prove my point that it was highly incriminating because Jay is basically saying, I saw her body, Adnan showed it to me. It was very detailed. So that's just one of his main points. So again, notice that I have support for my example. I backed it up with some evidence. I talked about what was suggested by that evidence. And then I talked about why it matters. Right? And that's just one point. And then I would repeat that process by giving another example of support of why Jay's testimony was highly incriminating. And if I need a third example, I would come up with a third example of support of why Jay's testimony was highly incriminating. And that's how you write a body paragraph. So what you want to do right now is maybe just pause your video in just a second and try to do outline one support for your example. Okay? So pause the video and do that now. All right, if you're back, then I'm assuming that you have all four of these boxes completed for one idea or one support that backs up your example for your reason. And you're ready to move on and outline the rest of your paper. So from here on out, all you have to do is continue doing that process you just did, but for more examples of support. If you have any other questions, just ask the teacher, Mr. Gasway, and I will be monitoring and helping. So all you have to do is call me over. I'll be more than happy to try to help you. So good luck to you and good luck on your body paragraphs.